Happy Sunday, everybody. Up in Derby, PA, right outside of Philadelphia. Doing what we do, conversating, wishing everybody a lot of blessings, a lot of happiness. If you don't believe in spirituality, well, I just wish you have a nice, concrete, go to work, come home, go out, come home, mess with a girl or man, and come home, enjoy yourself day. Whatever that entails. I just wanted to speak a little bit really quickly on the myth of equality in the United States in housing. How long have black people been free in the United States? Black people have been free in the United States since 1965. Okay, we were technically freed in 1865, but 100 years of Jim Crow will show you that that semi-freedom wasn't freedom. So I don't really count it until 1965. Did you ever look around? Did you ever look at how communities are segregated, even in today's society where you can basically navigate between communities at will? Have you noticed that black people still mostly live around black people and white people mostly still live around white people? If you're wondering why that is, it's because it was set up that way from the beginning. When 90% of us were slaves in the 19th century, 10% of us were in some southern cities and Philadelphia and to a lesser extent New York and Boston. So there was a minor non-slave free presence and also a slave presence in northern cities. But the vast majority of black people lived in the South under slavery, in the slave quarters. Some of them were allowed to live in the master's home. But we had substandard quarters. And where we were allowed to be in the cities, mostly we had substandard quarters there as well. Sometimes you could live similar to everyone else, but for the most part, it was substandard. This continued. Let's look at after slavery. They release us. Emancipation Proclamation, Civil War happens. Then we are freed via the amendments and the conclusion of the Civil War. But what does freedom mean? We weren't trained how to do anything but work for others on a farm. We have agrarian skills, but not skilled at applying them for ourselves necessarily. So they did have the foresight, people in Congress who were somewhat sympathetic to the slave issue. They had the foresight to formulate the Freedmen's Bureau and other governmental agencies to, one, enforce the rights of blacks in the South so that we could vote and live where our money could allow us to live and farm how we were able to farm based on economics and knowledge, not based on prejudice, meaning we don't want you here no matter what you can do. You have to go to a substandard area and try to prosper there. So for 10 years, we had that protection in southern places where they had been in rebellion during the Civil War. Then America decided to get back together. They said, "You're our brothers. We forgive you. 10 years of purgatory is enough for you to suffer because these black people are not our brothers. You are. So we're going to re-embrace you and you can have the South back and you can administer the laws of the South the way that you see fit." So, hence, the Reconstruction era soldiers went back north and the bigotry or the bigots and their bigotry were allowed to reign supreme over the South again. Now, was the North a bed of roses during this time? No. Ironically, though, when the South was really codifying its allegiance to black codes and Jim Crow for the next 60 to 70 years, when they were codifying it in the 1890s to make it something that would be permanent, the North at that time was in flux.